Today on BTF Runbacks, we have those. Bonita, Bonita, wherefore art thou Bonita? And hey California, what's up New York? Rob TV came to play. Welcome back to Beyond the Fist, the Street Fighter League livecast talk show presented by Toga TV. I'm your host togashiazrael, and today we talk about Episode 7, Week 7, Match Day 6. Joining me as usual, our panel of goons and delinquents. First up, Vancouver Street Battle Claw Specialist, who rolls higher on stealth than his girlfriend. Say hello to Geki. What's going on, buddy?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing all right. Next, 49th. This past weekend at Combo Breaker, putting on a clinic at Vancouver Street Battle because, as you'll hear from him, he's the best. Say hi to Mortsy.
I am the best. That is correct. I am the best right now.
And finally, you can't spell freedom without free, and that's what you are for him if you're in Diamond Online or lower. Say hi to SplicedHelix. What's up?
You're giving me just a lot more credit than I deserve.
Hey man, I've seen you free up some diamonds and lower. Anyways, all video footage from today's livecast is used with permission from Capcom. Follow the SFL and the Capcom Pro Tour on Twitch at twitch.tv/CapcomFighters, on YouTube at youtube.com/CapcomFighters, and on Facebook Live at facebook.com/CapcomFighters. Gentlemen, button check time. Here is your first hit, the first run back of the season. We're starting with Team Inferno versus Team Frost. Punk nefariously called out Nephew on Week 2, Match Day 1, and the end result was a dominating win for Inferno despite valiant efforts on the part of Up to Snuff Sakuma and Dual Kevin's Rashid. Let's take a look at how this one played out.
I'm going to ask you to take a look at the bottom of your screen here. Full critical art from Punk, a lot of meter to spend. Can lead to a ton of damage. Oh, that's
what a
one.
crush. Yeah, spins one of those EX bars to get the
He's going to do it again. Gonna get the juggle.
That stun, that air throw ender takes off so much damage. Punk working on a full gold bar right now. That might be a done deal.
I'm telling you, Steve, look at the screen. How many times did he use that meter?
All right. The first run back of the season saw a very game Dual Kevin take on Punk in a much closer set than that clip let on. But the Alpha remained clutch despite his Karen being the target of the bans. We talked about strategy against Team Inferno before, and Dual Kevin being the strategic mind of Team Frost almost got the job done. Now in the second half, is Punk's Karen the optimal target ban strategy, or should Team strategically be playing the game for second place to break up that logjam where everyone else is stuck? SplicedHelix.
Team Inferno. Team Inferno. I don't think it matters. I honestly don't think it matters. You ban Colleen, he plays Karen. You ban Karen, he plays Colleen. He plays one of his other 15 characters. I mean, if you're looking to even up second place, if you're looking to take that second spot, consider aiming at JB or Rolex. You're not going to beat Punk unless you're Knuckle Dude.
Geki, how did you feel about Punk's play this past week? And is there anyone left who could possibly stop a probably motivated Punk who just lost his first game of the Street Fighter League?
Well, the thing is, you can, like Helix was saying, you ban one character, he's going to play another that he can play almost as well as anyone else. The thing is, he has a Colleen, Cammy, and Karen that are very close to the same level. I'd say probably in the same tier of skill that he is. The rest of his characters that he knows how to play are not that good. But the thing is, you can only ban one character at a time. So really, it's up to you based on, the matchup you want to play. Like, let's say your team's super comfortable against Colleen, so you ban Karen, right? But that hasn't worked out at all since all the matches we've seen. He's picked, doesn't matter who it is, and he just wins, wins, and wins. So I honestly agree with SplicedHelix. I think you ban, JB's Rashid or Royalix Chun-Li to totally nerf the team in some way instead of something that might happen versus something that will guaranteed happen.
Mortsy, you're in the logjam for second place. Those 3 teams that are sort of there. Are you playing for second place now when you're strategically planning for Team Inferno, or are you still trying to take them down?
I don't necessarily think that teams are going to be playing like, oh, I want to get second place this time. I think they're just going into every match and they're going, we need to win. It's not necessarily, they're not really thinking super hard about like what place are we going to end up in right now. They're just going, like, if you can just win every one of your matches, you're doing everything that you possibly can, right? So I think that what we touched on when you said if your team has a comfortable matchup against Colleen, you can ban the Karen, and that is the reason why we ended up Inferno has a loss, is because they have 2 Guile players and they could almost guarantee the Guile Karen matchup, which is just fantastic for Guile and awful for Karen or Colleen, sorry. Other teams, though, might not have that same thing. Although we saw Team Psycho, who were content with trying to land the Birdie Karen matchup with Toy, so they are able to ban the Karen or the JB Rashid instead. So I think that a lot of it is going to come down. This is actually really nice because finally we're seeing some strategy with the bans and the picks as opposed to just banning the strongest player's character on the team. It's actually really nice because, well, it sucks for both Storm and Psycho. Like, dude, Storm is so lucky they have Samurai. Otherwise, they'd be doing awfully right now, dude, because they have a specialist. Like, the captains are the specialists, and obviously they're going to be the stronger players. So their characters are getting banned out. But the other teams that have whose captains, who their strongest players have multiple characters, are all flourishing fairly well. Outside of, I don't know, pretty much everyone's like doing okay, at least. Outside of Psycho, who's getting rocked. So I don't necessarily, it all comes down to what the team is comfortable playing against. But I think also JB is capable of like cleaning up a team by himself. So he's worthy of a ban as well if your Rashid matchups are bad. But I don't think there's any characters that Rashid really destroys. It's more that he doesn't really have like any 7-3 matchups outside of... No, I actually can't think of any right now. So it's like you're okay with dealing with the Karen, or you're okay with dealing with the Guile or the Colleen. That's pretty much all it comes down to, is who would you rather deal with as Punk? And if you're okay with the Colleen or the Karen, then you just ban away JB, and that gives you a better chance. Ideally, it gives you more people to try and deal with Punk.
All right, with 4 matches to go, guys, who do you or how many more times are we going to see Punk's Karen get the ban? SplicedHelix.
I mean, it's a toss-up every week because it doesn't, like we've just been talking about, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. You can ban one and still have to deal with the other. So it really, like Mortsy was saying, it really depends on matchups. If you have somebody that's good against Karen and not Colleen, you go that way. Against Colleen and not Karen, you go that way.
Geki, who left among the remaining 4 matchups has a shot of handing Team Inferno that second loss?
I think Spirit and Gale probably have the best chance. Gale hasn't played yet, right? In the second time?
Not yet, no.
Yeah. So I think they have the best chance, or I think actually Team Storm has a chance. Only if Samurai gets to play Punk.
We will touch more on Team Samurai when we get to that matchup next. Mortsy, same question. Who could possibly give Team Inferno that second loss? And do you see Team Inferno falling for this first place spot?
Inferno's looking pretty good for first place because Obviously, I don't want to really agree with Helix, so kind of killing me right now. I'm just looking at the past teams. So the people who've banned Rashid against Inferno, Storm didn't. Frost has neglected to do so twice now. Spirit banned Rashid, Psycho banned Rashid, which I think I talked about a little bit there, where they were able to get the toy or the matchup with the Birdie versus Karen, which is incredibly one-sided. And that was the one where JB played Nash. And obviously Gale actually banned Karen as well. So there's only 2 teams so far that have banned the Rashid in Spirit and Spirit and Psycho. So I don't expect that to change. I think they'll probably just stay the same. I think that Samurai, if he gets against Punk, probably loses though. As good as Samurai is, obviously they're gonna because they're not gonna, unless Storm. That's the time. This second time that they play is the time that they free Laura. In which case, I think Storm will win.
Very interesting on the part of Mortsy there with that pick. We talked last week, after the midway point of the season, of course, who our top 2s were going to be. I put Storm in that 2 spot behind Team Inferno, and I was saying that Storm would only lose one more time, and that was against Team Inferno. So we'll have to see how that holds up. Speaking of the mid-season picks, Geki not looking so hot right now with
It's not over, man.
But we'll get more into that a little bit later on. Time for your second clip. Gentlemen, hard luck for Broly Legs, and once again, we are seeing the up-to-snuff Akuma. Check this out.
Too early, got him in trouble. Final round between these 2 right here. Team Inferno versus Team Frost. As you can see up in this top left-hand corner, they're already down a player.
It's come down to the final round here between these 2. No whiff pun or no punish on the sweep.
Back throw. DP this time. Up to Snuff has some work to do. He's a little low on life. There's that roundhouse again we were talking about. Dual Kevin even mentioned it. Just inching forward to get that throw each and every time. Double dash is interrupted this time by Broly Legs.
One too many dashes. Broly was ready for it in that space just in case he tries to do... Oh, wait a minute. Didn't juggle.
He gets the side switch. Up to Snuff has some work to do. Broly Legs looking good. There's a forward throw. Activate. Oh, gets the crush.
That should be enough. Stun. And that's going to be Up to Snuff, barely taking it down over Broly Legs. Oh.
So there you have it. We see the Akuma once again from Up to Snuff, targeted for the ban once again in an attempt to psychologically target Nephew. Up to Snuff's Nakali once again takes a back seat, and he was more than game with his Akuma to take on a determined Broly Legs, who I really, really feel for, because he was very, very close, not once, but twice in this set. On this panel, we've addressed Up to Snuff's play before as seemingly not on the level we are expecting from Wednesday Night Fight's mainstay top finisher. What is more concerning for you moving forward? Broly Legs' current hard luck, or Up to Snuff's seemingly subpar play? Geki.
I just really feel for Broly Legs because he's getting so close in so many situations. It's just one situation that, you know, due to execution or maybe not confidence or maybe matchup experience or on the side of the opponent. Like, for example, that EX Legs he did was to catch the juggle points of the fireball, and that technically would have worked, but he didn't catch it early enough and got punished for it because he whiffed it, and then he had recovery frames, and, you know, he just killed him with a combo. So, super unfortunate, but, yeah, what can you do? That's fighting games.
Mortsy, how did you feel about Up to Snuff's Akuma this time around compared to Week 2 Match Day 1?
Well, I guess I'd like to preface it with the fact that I don't feel bad for Broly Legs. In fact, I feel luck on the side of Up to Snuff, because instead of committing to a super in the previous round that would have killed, Broly Legs opted to go for EX Legs instead. and the super most certainly would have killed. So he had an opportunity to take the set, and he did not, and he suffered for it. And so I think that also, I don't know what the hell was going on. Broly Legs like froze up when trying to punish Akuma sweep. So that was like, I don't call that bad luck on the side of Broly Legs. I just call that he just missed it. Poor play. Like, he had opportunities given to him on a silver platter, and he didn't take them. So that is and Up to Snuff had opportunities given, or more likely he had opportunities like baby fed to him, and he did do it. Yeah, exactly. So I think Up to Snuff did fine. Broly Legs did great, except for those few key moments where he really dropped the ball.
All right, SplicedHelix, are you feeling more comfortable on Team Inferno with Up to Snuff's Akuma now? Because we've seen subpar Necalli play from him, and now we're seeing, well, kind of above average Akuma play from him, but not exactly optimal. Who are you feeling more comfortable with moving forward, Akuma or Necalli?
For Up to Snuff, I honestly not Necalli. I think his Akuma is a lot better, and just from the solid play, the ranges he's got and the footies he's showing on Akuma seem to me to be better than Necalli. Broly Legs was this close multiple times. He was so close. I think it was just kind of, he hasn't won one, and he's brought it up. He's mentioned it, so it's on his mind. So I think that had something to do with it too.
Geki, does Broly Legs get one before the end of the season?
It's up to him. I think I totally agree with what Mortsy said, in that because if two good players, varying in skill level, if one takes the opportunities and capitalizes well, better than the other player, they could have less opportunities and still win because they're doing the most damage. They're giving themselves the best situation from that opportunity to do damage or get a better situation for them. And because Broly Legs did not take those situations and capitalize on them, he lost. So if he can fix that before the season's over, maybe he'll seem more solid by the end of it. But I mean, it's not going to really hurt the team because Punk has been doing so much damage for the team already, and same with JB as well. Not to knock Broly Legs as a player, but just it seems like he doesn't need to do better. It's just for him to save face.
All right.
Was that intentional?
What do you mean?
Save face?
I didn't mean to do that. It's a common expression.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm leaving it. Yeah,
Okay,
we'll
we'll leave the topic of that right there. Hopefully Broly Legs does, in fact, get on the board moving forward, because he's just on the cusp. It looks like he's going to find it. Let's see also whether or not Up to Snuff's play ends up improving. All right, one more clip from this first set. This is Punk sealing the deal and moving Team Inferno up 5-1. Check this out.
Just raw reactions, getting the low forward out.
Yeah, Up to Snuff is going to need this round. He needs this round if he wants to keep Team Frost alive. Goes for the EX Demon Flip with the palm. Oh, crouch obedient punch.
That was sick. It looks so good. The way she finesses across the screen after those the double
combos do
icicle
look
drop.
sick. Her combos do look sick. Yo, standing fierce as an anti-air. Come on.
There we go. Got the confirm off the low forward medium kick. Brings her back around to the screen here with that back throw. Activation there from Punk. Best believe Up to Snuff might be looking for a fireball activation. He gets it off a hit.
Yep, gonna get this hard knockdown because of the trigger activation. Oh, dash up demon.
No,
He saw it.
He's seen it not too long ago from NCR. He's well aware of it.
Tries to go for the tick throw. Spends all his meter there, but Up to Snuff still has a chance right now.
One bar, vanity step into the roundhouse.
All All right, gentlemen, we touched on this a little bit on the first topic. After going down to the wire versus Dual Kevin, Punk upped his game against Up to Stuff secondary Akuma, dominating the play for the most part with his Colleen, the Alpha, seemingly adjusted from their first meeting where Up to Snuff proved to be a challenge. The way he's been playing, it seems that Inferno is a lock for that top spot. Of the remaining matchups, which team, and more specifically, which player, has a chance to take down Punk? Mortsy.
I'm seeing a big old, 0 from, is that what you're trying to signify here? It's going to be a big no one's doing it? Yeah, I disagree, obviously. I think that of the teams that, obviously Gale, not because I'm bandwagoning again, not because that's the team that I picked at the very start of the season to win this entire thing, because they're the only people who have the roster of characters capable that can't win due to sheer dumb luck or sheer dumb punk of not banning key characters. I don't think Punk's not that silly. If so, I would hope that JB would talk him out of it. Like, JB has to know. He was from NLBC for a long time. He's got to be like, dude, we cannot let Laura out of this cage. Like, this is dumb. Karen will just, annihilate Akuma's health bar. Let's just roll with it, please. I can see JB just, begging Punk, don't do this, dude. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with this stress. But I think that Inferno will beat Gale if they ban Guile. Because that was the issue last time, right? That was what allowed them. Although that leaves Ibuki up, and it's kind of. But I just think that the matchups the matchup is just too good. You have 2 Guiles on your team. Them banning Karen just makes it so good, dude. So I think Inferno loses against Gale if they choose to ban Ibuki again. But I don't think any other team has a fantastic chance of taking it. Especially not Psycho.
SplicedHelix, your pick from the get-go. I can't believe you brought up Psycho as a potential anything. Anyways, more on that later. SplicedHelix, your pick to win it all. First place on the table. Punk and Inferno. Who can beat Punk?
I don't see it changing. I picked it for a reason. I'm 100% behind it. He lost once. Out of 6 weeks, he lost once. So,
thanks to cold strategy.
Yeah, okay. And if he loses one more time to the same team with that strategy, I'm all right with that because that's still first place.
Understandable.
Geki, do you see Inferno just running the table the rest of the way, 9-1 to finish this season?
Well, let me bring up a point no one's really talking about. So Punk is in his environment, okay? He likes tournaments, right? He likes top 8s. He loves being on stream, obviously, right? He likes a room full of people. But this is his element. He loves being in a TV show-like setup where people can talk to each other, talk trash, and, play mind games. And you casually hang out with them all the time, so he's even more comfortable. This is where he's the strongest player of all time. Okay? No one is going to beat Punk unless they get lucky. And that's all that win was, in my opinion. Just dumb luck. I'm not saying Gale can't do it again, but that was lucky because Punk got caught off guard, I imagine, because he's in his element, he's super cocky. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't think anyone can stop him.
Join us, Geki. Join us.
Never. But I'm just admitting the truth.
You guys see Mortsy shaking his head over there. It's like it's not over yet. It's still 4 weeks to go. Let's see if Inferno can keep the ball rolling. Last point, Mortsy.
I just want to say that I think it's also really fun because this is going to go on until literally the last week, which is when they play, which is awesome. I think this is gonna be fun.
That is 100% true. So far, assuming that the order is the same from week 1 to week 6, week 2, week 7, etc., they actually don't play till week 10, and it could actually decide who finishes in first and who finishes in second, which is going to be really, really interesting. I had a segue about being on a roll, so here we go. Speaking of being on a roll, let's talk about Team Samurai, because I refuse to call them Team Storm. At this point, it's Team Samurai, because that's all he's done. In the last 4 weeks now, we went from 18-3 to 21-3. This isn't even funny anymore. We're going to talk more about this. This is our only topic for 50-50, and I want you guys to go ham. 3 clips for you. Samurai, Team Samurai versus Team Psycho.
Right there, but like I said, Samurai plans is super solid.
Got the EX uppercut. You know, it's so hard to predict when he wants to let it rip. He's gotten away with so much damage off these EX uppercuts. There's a huge fist pump after that. You saw on the top right of the screen on the player cam.
Back hard punch. Gets another crush counter. Toy stuck to this corner now.
Yeah, just backing off. As soon as he loses pressure or advantage with his normals, he goes to this safe range, right, to kind of get himself ready for any fierce, any heavy normals in general for the whiff punish.
Oh, cool. Wow. Hey, what'd you say there, Mr. Vicious?
Something about whiff punishes and heavy normals?
Oh, okay.
Something along the lines of that.
Just wanted to be sure. I thought I just saw it.
You were thinking the same thing, so I don't blame you.
Oh.
Nice tech on the back throw. Yeah, you could expect Samurai to kind of turn the tides. He wants to get the positioning. It's what he's looking for.
Oh,
Dolphin dive
that
past the fireball. That is insane reactions from Toy.
I think that was EX command throw. There's another side switch combo for Samurai. Wow. The armor to get through.
Didn't time the meeting properly. You have to hold that. Okay.
Crash
Activation.
Oh, once again.
Oh.
Still anyone's round at this point. Birdie's out of V-trigger, out of meter, but still.
Oh my goodness, to confirm the Kuretsu Hashi V-trigger 2 coming in clutch.
That was
some sort of meaty. Went for the EX pin one, got punished.
match point coming up for Samurai. Team battles get the best of everybody. It just brings out the best play in everybody. Taps him with the low. Stand medium kick. Probably thinking he was going to take a step forward. There's a fourth.
Tons of damage, spending all the resources he has. One sequence away can stun or kill, possibly both. No, wait a minute, Just a Kid hanging in there.
No
Teleport,
DP.
wasn't ready for it.
Down back, just in case the low was the option. Samurai just backdashing and jumping in the same instance. Makes Jury eat a fireball because of the placement. Wow. Gets the pinwheel kick, view reversal, puts himself in the corner. Trigger still there. V reversal this time by Samurai. And the mini shimmy. He's gonna beat Just a Kid this time. And we're gonna go to one more player on the team of
giving him a lot of resources coming into the potential final game or final round for Team Psycho. He needs to hang in there. He needs to get this victory over Samurai to tie it all up here to play another game in the set for the team battle. Here we go. Push, so much push to the corner already.
he wants you to have to deal with it.
Punish on the fireball. There was only one arm in the air to get the quick Nadeshko splash.
Look at the damage though. Quick was half-life damage. That's what it calls Samurai. And here's a chance. This is team battle point. Samurai in control using that trigger.
Critical art incoming. No.
Oh, what a drop. That's not good. That's going to give Chakotay one more chance of body split.
Oh,
Tries to get the command grab.
Swing.
Samurai has done it again. For 4 times straight. 4 different weeks. This man has brought his team back from the brink. And this time, taking out one of the personal boundaries, one of the personal obstacles from one of our first shows, Team Psycho. This dude, Samurai, should be holding his back. He should be. Somebody give my man a brace.
Get him a back brace, please. Or
All right. So, on Vancouver Street Battle commentary, we make this joke all the time. When you put Mortsy down 0-2, in a first to 3, he has you exactly where he wants you. Ready to get on that Mortsy train, ready for that reverse sweep for the 4th week in a row. That reverse sweep happened. Team Storm strategy, Samurai at the end, ride the momentum, destroy opposing team. 88% is the win rate now over the last 4 weeks. Here is your 50-50, gentlemen. If the strategy of banning Laura continues from opposite teams, will Team Samurai make the top 2 spot? Will they challenge Inferno? Or is this just one giant lucky run because you were always better lucky than good? Geki.
Oh man, I love his samurai, his Akuma so much. I feel like he's one of the players that out of almost everyone on the team or on all the teams that has an immaculate amount of character-specific knowledge against other characters' specific tool sets and options that no one else is really doing, unless like Punk picks Karen or Dew picks Guile or like Just a Kid picks Jury. But even then, like Samurai outclasses them in that department at least. But I don't know, man. It's really, after seeing Idon play at Combo Breaker, I still think it's better to let Laura out because she's weaker as a character. And I know you're gonna all yell at me. Mortsy's gonna yell at me very soon, but the character has clear weaknesses that make her less scary in more spots of the screen than Akuma, who is scary in all spots on the screen. Okay, and the thing is, since I've seen the tapes, I know Idom's neutral is not his strong suit, and there's other players that lose to Samurai that have better neutral than Idom, I think. Okay? Obviously, this is a different story when if they get hit, they get mixed, and then they die. But that's fighting games, right? If people can be better at the neutral game than Idom, I think it's going to be a closed case, right? Obviously, you ban the Akuma, but Samurai's not completely unschooled either, so it's not that scary to let Laura out of the cage, in my opinion. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but at this point, when you've seen the footage, right, as a fighting game fan, just let her out, man. She's just a little bonita. Not going to do any damage. She's going to just, give you some static electricity, right? Idom's going to try to mix you up, and then you're going to punish him for doing it, and then, that's it. Just stay out of the corner. No big deal.
I know Mortsy's chomping at the bit, and I know he's got a great answer coming up, but I'm saving the best for last. SplicedHelix first. Is it Bonita time?
Okay, so Samurai's an insane character specialist. Idom is an insane character specialist. If I had to go against Samurai's Akuma or Idom's Laura, I would completely, 100%, every time pick Geki's Ryu. Every time. They're both in the same level of danger to me. Samurai, I mean, we see Samurai. We see it. If this was like the NFL and there was an MVP at the end of the season, one player, he would get MVP for Street Fighter League. He's the most valuable player on that team, period. And I honestly can't argue either way for banning either Laura or Samurai, but for everybody else not being able to take out Samurai, it's do you take the chance? Do you go with Laura and just see how it goes, or stick with what's happening and make the man 30-3 at the end of the season?
All right, Mortsy, you saw Idom's Laura firsthand. You played him You played him at Combo Breaker. He sent you to losers. So, state your case, Mortsy. Keep Bonita locked up. Why?
All right, first things first. Mr. Staying neutral here and picking no actual side. Captain Switzerland up over there. You just want to stay out of the fight between me and Geki here. I get that. I respect it. All right. That's
Canadian
fine.
Civil War, it's all good.
All right. So, stay out of the corner. Okay. One thing that I will point out, and this is more of an Akuma thing, is I hate Akuma being able to just, he gets a combo, and then you're immediately in the corner when he's been in the corner the whole time. That's lame. Same issue with Rashid and Karen. They do the same thing, where they switch sides during their combo. Although I actually saw him do the Colleen one, which is sick. I've never seen that before, where he got to the other side and then did light Vanity Step and then went back the other direction. That was cool. But, man, IDOM, like, you're talking all this stuff about neutral, okay? And I respect that, that's fine. But dash forward into 5-frame clap, okay? Into V-trigger, and now you have to guess 3 times in very, like, what's nice about playing against non-mix-up, not Laura, okay? is that you get to sit on the ground and kind of think about what is the next defensive option I want to use. When you're playing against Laura, by the time you think about the next defensive option you want to use, you're on to the next guess. Like, the guess after the guess you were thinking about. You are picking 3 options in very, very quick succession that often end in a command grab that result in you dying to a 400 damage stun combo. You don't really get to pick. You don't get to think when you lose against Laura. Yeah, you can beat her in neutral, but that doesn't matter until if she gets a single in with V-trigger. Like, you still have to, like, if he gets a single knockdown and has V-trigger stocked, you are now in the blender. And the blender ends very, very quickly. Like, at least Akuma has 900 health. It's 900, right? It's not 875?
Yeah, it's 900.
Yeah, okay. Like, Akuma dies quickly, which is nice. Karen can blow him the ever-living F up, which is great. Although there are birdies, we don't have a lot of, like, high-damage people, or high-damage characters. Ibuki's always banned, Bison's always banned. Laura has a lot of damage. Yeah, we don't really have a lot of, like, high damage characters. Laura's also on the same team, but we don't have a lot of like super, super high damage characters outside of the secondary birdie that can really, really punish Akuma for doing something wrong. Also, Toy, like, he was actually kind of close to taking that game. He just messed up with the bullhorn.
While we were watching that clip, I visibly saw Mortsy just.
Yeah,
he wanted to choke something.
Pain. I just think, man, like, IDOM, God, I know you're, like, downplaying Laura, just to be nice. Like, you talk about how it's like, oh yeah, you can keep Laura out, right? You can beat her in neutral. Or he 2-0'd Jaewong at Combo Breaker, playing Manat. And if anyone's gonna keep Laura out, it's going to be Manat and Jaewong. And and even the tweet after is perfect because Jaewong said, lost to V-Trigger 1. I hate playing V-Trigger Street Fighter. He's winning neutral and then he just loses because that is what Laura is capable of. And that volatility is not something that you want to fight against. Even I would take the stability of playing against an Akuma over having the stress of losing because you make, like, he gets in once. It's similar to Geef, right? Where he gets in once and you can just lose. And that feels bad.
Doesn't that apply to Akuma and Trigger also?
Not the same, though.
Well, also have a command grab, but I mean,
it's not as,
everything he has links into everything else he has.
Yeah, he gets Oki, but it's not Oki of, like, okay, I have to guess, or I'm back in the, like, I have to take I'm taking my damage. Like, it's not Geef, it's not G, where you're guessing and you're, like, dying immediately for that happening. Like, you guess wrong twice against Geef and you're done. If you guess wrong, I think it's like 3 times, but I think it's more like Laura happens to reset you 3 times, rather than, she could probably stun you in 2, but only really, she does the reset, and that ends generally in command grab, so that the stun combo will do like 500 damage, because Laura is absurd. And Idom will hit that combo every single time. So I think you play against Akuma, you take your chances, you leave Laura caged, and you know what? When it does happen, I can't wait. I cannot wait to say, I told you so. You unleashed the beast. That is Laura. Idom Laura. And I also don't think you're giving him enough credit for his neutral. I whiffed Satoja in his face. Like, it whiffed. He didn't block it, and he whiff punished it with light kick. Actually, you know what? It actually might have been down forward or down crouch fierce that he whiff punished with it. And that was the game. I lost on that round because he got in that one time. And yes, my defense isn't great, so it's probably not on the level. I also don't have a DP, but it's like, bro, you are just unleashing an entire different can of worms. You know what the Akuma is capable of. You've watched it for 4 weeks in a row of him OCVing. We've already seen it. Inferno has taken down. We've seen 3 teams now beat Samurai. So it's not unbeatable. And I think that if the one time, if any, that Laura gets not banned, we're going to be seeing Idom with a perfect record for Laura. Also, I disagree that Samurai is the MVP of his team. I still think Idom is the MVP because he exists.
I don't think that works that way.
Like, the only reason that Samurai is able to play and freely as he has been is because he has Idom on his team with a character that is so dangerous that they'd rather deal with Akuma.
Yeah, but it's most valuable player, not most valuable not player.
Don't ruin my point. The only reason that Samurai is able to play like this is because Laura exists on his team. And Brian F. also said the same when Spirit got OCV'd by Akuma, or by Samurai. Brian F. jumped up to Twitter and be like, you guys are nuts for thinking that we would ever not ban Laura. Like, I don't think anyone is, like, everyone there is like, yeah, we're giving credit to this Laura. And then everyone here is out of their goddamn mind.
I give credit to Laura, but him not being able to play Laura doesn't make Samurai play at the level he's playing at. It just makes him able to play his character.
And because of that, he's able to play at the level that he would play at, with his character comfortable with, and all of the specific things, all those character-specific things that he knows on his own character.
Most valuable.
Geki, you had a point. You've been raising your hand for a little bit. You're chomping at the bit. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm gonna knock some points out that Mortsy has been pointing out that I think have holes in them, and that there's not a complete picture there. So, not that he's wrong. Obviously not. I totally don't disagree. There's just some specific examples that are not concrete evidence. Okay? So, for example, you mentioned Manat against Justin Wong, right? So Justin will always, and you saw this happen in Street Fighter League against Rob TV, always will take the throw. Okay? He will take the throw and die for it rather than tech, right? Since he can't tech against command grab, I'm not surprised Idom destroyed him because he kept getting command grabbed and refusing. He's like, eventually he's going to go for a combo and then I'm going to die. But no, he kept grabbing and grabbing and grabbing and then he just died. Not only does Manat have good neutral, totally agree, can't deny, best neutral in the game, best normals in the game, can't whip punish, can't counter poke because there's no freaking hurt box anywhere, obviously. But her damage is so small on punishes and situations that Laura is checkable or that Laura has a gap that, you know, you can use like an invincible move that is fireball immune. Manok can't do anything in those situations aside from maybe a check with stand like if you're ready. But the thing is, Manok can't do that well. All the other characters in the league have options. And I totally agree that Brian F will never, ever, ever want IDOM unbanned when they play, because Spirit has probably the worst matchup against Laura. Because Balrog dies, Nakali dies, and Manok dies. Well, to be honest, Justin Wong's playstyle dies the way IDOM plays Laura. I don't think, regardless of who Justin picks, it's not going to work out. Not only that, I think the big reason why they're not unbanning Laura for the most of the teams, even if they would do well, is because, not because he's not great, but also because people aren't comfortable in the Laura matchup. People don't know the matchup. Still, it's been how many seasons?
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change the fact that just makes it scarier, doesn't it? The best Laura in the world, who you also aren't comfortable playing against the character in general.
Maybe I'm saying I should be on the league instead. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I think they really have no choice at this point now, because if you were gonna let Laura out so you could see the potential, you need to do it early. Because when now you don't have a chance to see Laura, and then the one team that unbans gets a chance
And gets smoked.
Yeah, that's really rough, right? That'll get them some points that might help. Because the thing is, even if Samurai takes out and OCVs the other teams, if other teams perform better in terms of taking more rounds or not losing, then that's still going to be better than what Storm is doing by OCVing after everyone else is eliminated and Samurai is just carrying the team. So I guess people are thinking, I'd rather take the chance of getting OCV'd by Samurai and eliminating the other two players versus, dealing with potentially putting them in a better spot if they win with Laura. Even if IDOM beats one person, that's still better than... that's worse for the other team than getting OCV'd by Samurai, because at least when you get OCV'd by Samurai, you've taken out the other two players already.
Statistically, it's better.
Also, Samurai is playing a secondary as well. Right? So you're knocking out, although I think his secondary, as I've mentioned before, is probably a lot better than IDOM. Frankly.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I mean. Yeah.
I just that volatility. It's something I have spoken about. That, all of these points are just don't unban Laura. That just everything you're saying just sounds like, well, let's not do this.
Well, one point to push my unban Laura campaign that I'm starting next month, so you guys will buy the posters and whatnot. But what is G then? Because G is technically a worse and more volatile character than Laura, as according to everyone in the FGC. The majority of people think G is a problem compared to someone like Laura. Because Laura has very obvious weaknesses and obvious gaps. But G has literally everything.
Not true.
Outside of a 3-frame. Compared to Laura. They both are free on wake
and
up.
And a DP. I guess compared to Laura, yeah.
Yeah, compared to Laura. But G has better footsies, better normals. Huh?
Far better buttons.
Far better buttons, and has a better fireball, better command grab, because he actually gets damage, and Oki, and it just scales, right? So if you feel comfortable with G, Laura's not better than G. Even if IDOM is the best player there.
Yeah, but there's no one there that actually has a G outside of maybe Nephew that is on the level that they would need for it to be terrifying. That's why no one is going and banning G against Frost or against I guess it's literally just Frost, because they have Dual Kevin, who also plays with G. Who was the other one? I guess Brian F, but I don't know whether he had the G at that point.
Well, Knuckle Dude played G as well.
Poorly, yeah.
Yeah, poorly.
There are other characters that I would worry about far before I'd worry about Knuckle Dude's G.
Mm-hmm.
And plus Shine exists. So that if Strider was on a team, we would be seeing G ban.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
And then he would be playing Laura.
Yeah. Actually,
Toga.
I might be Colleen or Mika.
Maybe.
Toga, would you let her out? Would you let Laura out?
No.
Yeah, what's your opinion?
No.
Thank you.
Officially, no. After watching back Combo Breaker, Mortsy's first-hand testimony, and remembering how much of a problem Laura actually is, all things considered, I think you go with the evil that you know versus the evil that you don't. Or the evil that you know, rather, in the case of Laura. Keep that thing away from everybody so that you have a chance, potentially, to stop arguably the hottest player in the league right now. Let's cut that topic there, because we talked for a hell of a long time. And if there was a time limit on the show, we're going over, because we still have one more match to talk about before this one's done. But last thing on it, though, which... did...
Is he back?
Wait, what?
Oh, you cut out for a chunk of what you said.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, so basically, I did want to cut it there with regards to the discussion about Laura. We touched on it just a little bit, so the last thing I'm going to ask, this is just a yes or no question. Does Team Inferno take the chance, SplicedHelix?
Punk.
Geki,
So will they or should they?
will they?
Yes, they will. Punk will do it.
Mortsy,
I think Punk wants to, but I think that his team will prevent him. And this is
Not yes or no.
That's a no. Hold on. I believe tomorrow night is Inferno versus Storm.
all right, so we'll have to stay tuned for that one tomorrow to see what happens next. One more match to talk about. Team Gale versus Team
That was
Spirit.
Thunderclap, by the way.
Yeah, I got you. Final round time, boys. The last of the first set of runbacks, Team Gale versus Team Spirit. In an unreal turn of events in Week 2 Match Day 1, Team Gale decimated Team Spirit in an unexpected 3-0 sweep. Team Spirit, to this point, and much to the chagrin of panelist Geki, has been severely disappointing given the talent on the roster selected by Justin Wong. Let's take a look to see how they did last week.
Match. Still, Brian F has a chance here.
Okay, double dash kind of closed the gap. Doesn't want to give NuckleDu any chance to breathe. Nice confirm there from the low forward. Getting that spiral arrow, swinging away, buffering that Fierce.
At the tail end right there, still gets clipped by that standing Fierce. Nice block by Brian F. Getting out of the corner, and NuckleDu is just going in when it comes to the offense. Catches on the legs, look at the stun, gets the crush counter, misses the follow-up, had a combo. Oh, man.
Brian F hasn't been able to stop NuckleDu's arrow approach at all. Target combo canceled into the V trigger.
Okay, forward throw, he's got a chance. Needs to the back throw.
Barely off the mark, activation for himself.
Walks
NuckleDu
out of
corners
the corner,
himself.
misses the throw. Blocking so well. Text the throw. Brian F still has a chance. Give me a roll.
Oh, that could have gone into critical art.
CA.
There's still a chance.
40 seconds left on the clock. Full CA. Brian F's gonna hit the brakes on anything at this point because he can just EX right through any retaliation, especially after some of these quick moves in there.
my
And
goodness.
that's not for lack of trying. That is not for lack of trying. You see how Brian F turned that whole thing around, just basing it off of defense, just to try to make sure he can get that fight.
All right, so looking to repeat their previous domination of Team Spirit, NuckleDu got the ball rolling with their blind pick of the order once again paying off. NuckleDu getting the matchup against Brian F. Brian F this time around managed to hold his own with impressive play early, but was defeated once again by the 2016 Capcom Cup champion. After finally debuting his guile in the tournament last week, NuckleDu seemingly has gone back to a strong counterpick game and is keeping Guile locked up, at least for now. Do you agree with NuckleDu's strategy, given Team Gale is currently at the back of the logjam tie for second? Or should NuckleDu be going for his main to try and lock up that top two spots? SplicedHelix.
I don't think it's anywhere outside of strategy for this pick. There are certain matchups you want to avoid as Guile, especially in high tier play. Balrog is one of them. You don't want to fight Balrog as Guile if you can help it. And he's got a Cammy, so why not pick Cammy instead when you know that eventually, sometime in that match, you're going to have to fight Brian F., who's one of, if not the best Balrog in the country. So there's no reason for him to pull out the Guile in that situation, but I don't think that's the last we've seen of Guile. I think he'll probably do it not this week, not tomorrow, but the next week. I think he'll pull Guile back out, and I don't think he's hiding him for any reason. I just think he's looking at the matchups and doing it strategically.
Mortsy, how do you feel about NuckleDu's Cammy? Definitely looked a lot better than his G from previous weeks, yeah?
Brian F has a historically poor time against Cammy. So that would be probably the reason that he brought it out, especially I believe that was the first match, right?
Yeah, that was the first match,
yeah. 2-3. So that was that's a no-brainer for me, I think. You pick that every time. God, Brian F's so good, dude. When he plays, I just love the way he plays, honestly. I really like the way he plays. He almost brought that back too, and just the patience in neutral, looking to whiff punish. God, stand medium kick is a dumb button for Cammy. It's a new Karen medium kick. Except before it was -4. Anyways, so I really like that pick. I don't think we're gonna see. The great thing about NuckleDu is that he's just he's got a folder of character, and he always has that locked and loaded anytime. Regardless, every opponent has to think about it, and that's really good. So if he doesn't bring it out, who cares? The most important thing is that the opposing team has to worry about it. So I don't think we'll pull it out again. I think every time, maybe he'll pull it out instead of Guile or instead of G, please. Other than that, I think he'll pull it out again against Inferno. And they'll try and run the same strategy unless they decide to ban it. So, yeah, I think I don't think he'll pull it out anytime soon. I think it was successful for that situation. You put a square block in a square hole, and it's going to go through. But if he doesn't get that opportunity again, then he's just going to be like, whatever, I'll just play the other assortment of characters that I can play.
All right, Geki, your boy, Brian F., has been not exactly successful over the last throughout the first half of the season. He did get banned out twice. We did get to see Abigail a little bit, but his Balrog has just been constantly counterpicked against all the other matchups. What does he have to do to turn it around? Because it's not like he's playing very badly.
No, but in that clip, so many chances to whiff punish, and he just wasn't looking for it. He didn't fully, because he wasn't jumping. He was blocking the dive kicks. There's no reason to try to anti-air that as Balrog, unless you're going to use jump back jab and then be potentially put in a worse situation. So I think he could have put all his mental energy into whiff punishing those medium kicks that NuckleDu was obviously going to keep pressing with to get Brian to crack. He even whiffed one right in his face that he could have, jab buffered into dash punch into super, but because he does that a lot and he's super good at it. But yeah, I don't know. For my hubby, I think he needs to figure out something against Cammy because he struggled for many, many seasons. I've had long phone calls with him about it. From the bathtub, and it's just it doesn't work that well. So I don't know.
All right. Well,
I really regret making this joke.
So we will have to see if Brian F does turn it around. NuckleDu looking very, very strong in his decision making. At least for now, we've seen him drop the ball before. We touched on the G pick, and this was against, of course, the rising storm that is Team Samurai. So we'll have to see what happens moving forward. Coming up next, clip number 2, we got a brand new toy coming out of Shine.
They laugh. It was funny.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what that flash was. You might be right. It could have been anything but the uppercut.
It wasn't an EXDP.
That's right, yeah. Because if it was, it would have been fully invulnerable on the startup of it. It would have been able to stuff Justin Horn. But again, Shine now trapped in his corner, fighting his way out, stomps his way out, excuse me. Nice whiff punish there. Now he's ready and more in tune with the roundhouse placement from Nikali. Okay, stand fierce. I was going to say roundhouse.
Skill. The reversal grabs it with the EX on top of it. Just walking up, tries to dash up with a check.
Critical art. Steve, this is definitely gonna kill. All right, let me tell you something.
Okay.
He's gonna spin him around. Boom. I'm calling it now. Definitive kill.
All right, so you guys just got a look at Shine's new secondary, or something else that he was trying to pull off. In Nikali, throughout the season, teams facing Team Gale have opted to not face Ibuki on the part of Shine. To this point, Shine has shown he is more than capable of handling opponents with his jury, but has struggled over the last couple of weeks. How did you feel about watching Shine play Nikali? And do you think we'll see the Nikali again, or should he stick with a proven secondary in Jury, Geki?
I thought the best part of that clip was the last frame of Brian F. flexing his biceps while lifting up his stick. And it was just, whew, that's why I have to wear a tank top in the summer, because, my gosh, it's just too much. I can't take your fault, Mortsy.
You're going to end up with a restraining order.
But, no, I do think Shine was confident in the character matchup, but clearly he's not as schooled with Nikali as his jury is. So I think he should have went back to a more comfortable pick. Because, you know, personally for me, you guys may disagree, people in the chat may disagree, everyone in the FGC may disagree. Pick who you're comfortable with over a better matchup, because comfort is what's going to win you games and get you opportunities and capitalize on opportunities versus, oh, this character does well. But that doesn't mean you're going to do well. So
I find that it's a very interesting point that you brought that particular concept up when you're talking to a Vega main, or yourself, of course, a Claw main, Mortsy, a Fog specialist, myself, a Nash player, and SplicedHelix Guile. It's not like we're all lining up to...
Dirty Guile player.
Yeah, it's not like we're all lining up to play Ibuki or Akuma or any of the other current top-tier characters, Rashid as well. SplicedHelix, how did you feel about the Nikali play from Shine, and will you expect to see more of it in the future?
I hope not. I hope it goes back to jury. We're never, ever, ever gonna see his Ibuki. Ever, 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 ever. Maybe no. So he was doing just fine. He was doing just fine with jury. Stick with what's working. You know, the Nikali didn't. So go back.
Mortsy, you touched on this a little bit earlier, the potential for Team Gale getting Guile banned out in the attempt, just in an attempt to beat out Team Gale. Do you take the chance of letting Shine have Ibuki, or do you just make him play this Nikali jury thing that he's doing right now?
Well, one thing I guess people are saying that, oh, the jury's working, but it's obviously not, because he's not winning games. So I understand him. If he's losing, going to lose anyways, hey, why not just try a better matchup, try a character that maybe you don't have as much experience with. And hey, I commend him for trying to play a different character. It's a similar one to JB opting to go for the Nash as opposed to playing the Birdie when his Rashid got banned out 2 weeks ago or the week prior. So I like that a lot more. It obviously didn't work out, and that's fine. But I'd like him exploring a little bit. What I find super interesting is that the overlap between these players is starting to be a little weird. Like, Shine, obviously, he's the only one who plays the jury. But then you have Guile between Rob TV and between Knuckledoo. You have Karen between Rob TV and Shine. And then now we have Nikali between Rob TV and Shine, who have both brought out this character. So it's like, why do they all play the same characters is what I find is really interesting. And I'm trying to be like, maybe they're playing some like 8th level Yomi, where they're like, hey, maybe you should ban these other characters because it will kill, like, you'll get 2 of us. Like, wow, what a deal. But it's like, it didn't work, obviously, and people are still going to ban Ibuki, but it's like, maybe they're trying to, oh man, could you imagine if you had beaten Justin, what different conversation we would be having? Oh my god, that'd be amazing. Anyways, yeah, I hope he tries a different character.
We're all gonna be surprised when he busts out a Cody.
Yeah, exactly. Like just I hope he keeps going with random characters and leaving it on Rob and not gonna do the sweep.
Honestly, that would be something. Somebody picking random select.
Yeah. Maybe that's what we did first. Yeah, we're not gonna see it again. It was fine. I really like that activation, the command grab on the V reversal. It shows he's aware of the tools that he possesses. He just he's whiff a little too careless with buttons in neutral. Specifically that heavy kick, he's trying to throw it out a little too much, and he got whiff punished both times doing it. It's a good button to throw out, but super dangerous against fast walk speed characters due to the recovery. Anyways, yeah, I don't think we'll see it again.
All right, that's all we're going to talk about for this topic, because I do want to go a little deeper into our final topic of the day. And it's going to be talking about, of course, the often neglected, constantly overlooked by sponsors, just because he doesn't live in California or New York. The next 2 clips, gentlemen, Rob TV.
We broke down the door. Come on, we just fixed it.
We just fixed it. These guys were here fighting the other day.
That was just 2 hours ago, Steve.
Yo, Rob TV, like I said before, he likes to rush you down. Another forward throw in the corner. Psycho doesn't know what to do. He takes another throw really close to stun, and there's the overhead. And this is a dangerous situation, and the round will go to Rob TV as he makes it count with a perfect.
Let's go.
In the second part of this round robin.
The biggest piece of advice that NuckleDude gave to Rob TV, he's like, you know what, Justin Wong, in this kind of situation, he's going to play lane even more so. So you just have to keep running. You got to go apply this pressure until he cracks. And he's doing so successfully. Rasen Han, not quite the stun. Back throw, that should just be enough. He's going to build the meter for it. Oh, it's not over yet.
Justin.
Uh-oh. It's the classic story. We've seen it so many times as veterans of the FGC. I lied to you all, Rob TV. Let's go off.
Let's go! What?
Alright, guys. Much has been made about both NuckleDude, a Capcom Cup champion, and Shine, a top player from NLBC in New York. Vocal about lack of opportunities, mostly based on geographical location for players, Rob TV making a statement about the strength of his play. This past week might have been his coming out party of sorts. Able to unleash offense against Psycho with that perfect that you saw at the end. And in a run back with Justin Wong, who this time not playing Falk, playing an actual character in Karen, a dominating round in the mirror, and then the closeout with a S-tier whiff punish. Fantastic work from Rob TV. How impressed were you this past week, and was this display enough to consider changing the strategy against Team Gale? Mortsy.
First things first, I'd like to defend Falk as a real character. Joser put Trashbox in the losers and pools, so kudos to him, kudos to Falk, kudos to that terrible, terrible matchup for Birdie.
Wait, the Vega player? Former Vega player?
Former Vega player played Falk and put him in the losers. It was dope. I think it was like, it wasn't even close either. It was good. Anyways, Rob TV has been capable of this since the very beginning, and this just goes to show you the depth of Team Gale and the strength of these 3 incredible players. Hashtag Team Gale. So
Hashtag second place.
Hashtag still going, still getting through. And then we're literally never going to see Shine regardless. See the Ibuki anyways. Rob TV, I don't see this shifting the strategy at all. There's the only strategy that we have is who we ban, and that's never going to be targeted at Rob TV, I don't think. Because God, Shine. Unless the format changes to allow either multiple bans or you can't ban the same character or something or other, we're banning Ibuki, baby. So, or Guile if you're Team Inferno, because otherwise they're going to lose. So, Rob TV still, he played fantastically. He beat Justin. Also, I'd like to point out Justin did tech in the very last throw. He did tech. Thank goodness he did. Otherwise, I would have brought that up too. Either way, but yeah, the strategy doesn't change. We're sticking with Ibuki. We're never seeing it. We're locking the high schooler in a cage and throwing away the key, and leaving out the rich girl. Even with the overlap between Shine and Rob TV, I don't think you ban the character ever.
Okay, Geki, Rob, of course, knows both of us in person, and he has had a conversation with us simply about opportunities and exposure for those of us who are not in Southern California or New York City. How big of a statement was this performance by Rob TV?
Well, huge. I mean, he's been grinding so hard since his old YouTube videos he would post about tournaments and traveling and grinding and, mental game and mental thinking and whatnot. Just, he's come a long way from a little boy from Ohio. So, he's doing work. He's doing good stuff. Getting a few sponsors here and there, beating good players throughout the CPT season last year, and now doing good work in Street Fighter League. So I'm not surprised at all because he has work ethic like no one else. And I will defend the School of Lame for a moment, or the Church of Lame, I should say. There's also a school. There's two districts. One is a church, one is a school. So the districts are kind of a different setup here. But anyway, locations are important. The point is that goes out the window when you're going to get stunned in the next sequence or you're going to die in the next sequence. So then all bets are off. You're not taking no throws, you're not taking anything. You have to decide. But anyway, I'm not surprised by Rob at all, and I hope he continues to do work. I don't think anyone will target ban him purposely. I think if anything gets banned, it's Guile, and that affects him, but they're aiming for NuckleDo if that's the case. So I'm just going to sit back like this, enjoy the show, take out my water, and just say cheers, Rob. Good shit.
Drink that water.
SplicedHelix, how do you feel about Rob TV's play, and can he keep this going? And what kind of challenge does he present to the remaining teams going forward?
I said, I think week 2, that him being the last one to be picked and automatically put on Gale, I think it made him have something to prove. And I think he's shown that there was a mistake made. It's like those football players you see that they don't go till like the 9th round or something, and they end up being, setting NFL records for rushing, Adrian Peterson. And he's pulling it out. He is showing that maybe he should have been 2nd round pick, instead of just let go till the end. The guy beat Justin Wong in a mirror match. He doesn't have. He had a good point. He doesn't have the visibility like somebody from Southern California or from New York City. It's not there. That's just how the FGC works. We got 2 big scenes for the weekly stuff. You got NLBC and you got Wednesday Night Fights. Wednesday Night Fights is one coast, NLBC is the other. Where in the middle do you see anything? But even I'm sorry, what?
Canada.
No, in the middle of the country that matters. Come on.
I almost hit the mute button on SplicedHelix right there.
Can I quit?
Keep going.
You can. I mean, you're back in team spirit. So you don't see talent like that on a regular basis like you do people from the West or the East Coast. I think he's fantastic. I think he's a great player, and I think he's proven it.
Man, there was some verbal jousting going around over there. I actually lost the point that I was going to ask. Give me a second. Live TV. This is great. Okay. So move. Okay, go ahead, Geki. While I'm
Just quick point. I want to apologize to the 10 kindergarten that are watching. So I apologize for swearing earlier.
I totally missed the fact that you actually cursed.
Great. No one caught it.
I didn't catch it either.
Yeah, I mean, are you sure?
I apologize to the 12 parents watching. So.
All right, so this was the thing I was going to ask. If Rob TV, as SplicedHelix pointed out, was drafted on any other team earlier among the, I believe he was an online warrior. He won a tournament, yeah? Anybody remember if he was an online qualifier or a?
I think he won online.
He was an online qualifier. Okay, so
too strong.
okay, so out of the online qualifiers, if Rob TV was picked anywhere else, so if he was on any of the other teams before scrolling back to the end, would he have the same level of success that he had at Street Fighter League to this point, Mortsy?
Yeah. Dude's good. He's just... The only reason that he got picked so late is due to the format of the draft. It had nothing to do with his actual skill level. Because if it was just a straight draft based on skill level, then the draft would have looked a hell of a lot different. But due to the restrictions within the draft, he basically forced to be drafted last. Outside of who did he get picked? The person he got picked before him, I can't remember who it was. It was Justin picking Psycho, I believe, because Justin had the next highest amount of points. I believe.
Yeah, it was Justin picking Psycho. Yeah.
And that I find incredibly. Actually, no, it made sense at the time due to the overlap of characters between Justin and Rob T. So, and that was something that Nakadu wanted to avoid, and he said so. And so that's the only reason, is just due to the way that the picks were done. That's the only reason he got picked late. So he's great. If he was on another team, he'd still be great. That's all.
Let's run the hypothetical since we did talk about it. Geki, if there were no restrictions on how everybody could have been picked, how high does Rob TV go in this draft?
Yeah, I think he would be really up there. I actually don't think he would be performing any less amazingly on any other team except for Psycho. I think he would do not worse because of his team or because he would play worse because he's not getting as good advice. I just think the dynamic of play styles and the people on the team, because also he's very comfortable on that team because he knows the players very, very well. He's from a very similar area, and they spend probably the most time together, if I'm not mistaken. So I think it's an aspect of comfort, because if he's really comfortable playing with the people he's playing with, I feel like there's a potential for him to do worse. So I think when he has to prove himself, I think that's when he plays at his best. So when he plays on teams with like someone like Knuckledew and Shine, people that have proven success, right? Versus him feeling that he hasn't proven himself or hasn't gotten the same success. Even though I think he's totally capable of doing that same success given the time or the chances or whatnot. But I think when he's put under that pressure by having people around him that are better than him, you know, on paper or based on experience, then I think he plays at his peak level of skill.
All right, SplicedHelix, you also touched on this a little bit. You talked about Rob potentially having a chip on his shoulder just because out of the 5 online qualifiers, he was rolled around to the back end of it. And Geki talked about sort of just comfort between Rob TV and his current team, and Team Gale. Do you think that team dynamic has played into how well he's been playing so far?
I think he's getting a lot of good, not really mentoring, but coaching from NuckleDoo. And I think Shine has good matchup knowledge too. I don't think he'd be doing worse anywhere else. But I think that team dynamic, I think, plays a lot into the confidence of his play. I think he gets a lot of morale boost just from those guys, having his back all the time. So I think he's doing fine. I think it's a product of both the environment, the slight chip on his shoulder, and the team dynamic.
All right, so let's see if Rob TV does, in fact, move forward, and the success of Team Gale continues throughout the course of the season. Let's see if they can break out of that logjam where they're on the back end of that second place and work their way through into one of those top 2 spots to end the season. That is the end of our show for tonight. Beyond the Fist returns on Monday at 9 p.m. All video footage for today's livecast is used with permission from Capcom. Follow the SFL and the Capcom Pro Tour on Twitch at twitch.tv/CapcomFighters, on YouTube at youtube.com/CapcomFighters, and on Facebook Live at facebook.com/CapcomFighters. Week 8, Match Day 7 airs Thursday, May 30th at 4 p.m. on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. As I said, Monday, June 3rd, we will be back on the air to review tomorrow's episode for the panel Geki, Mortsy, and SplicedHelix. I have been togashiazrael. You will see what is beyond our fists tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Thank you for watching, and have a good night.